Yeah, Baba. Yeah, Baba. It's neat.
When you have fresh, no how much you have. You almost beg by day by any anymore. Oh, sorry about what you call Baba. Buy it now, buy no buy it. Buy no buy it. When you have fresh, no how much you have. You almost beg by day by any anymore. Oh, sorry about what you call Baba. Buy it now, buy no buy it. Buy no buy it.
Hello, temo femo yo ten mi pe mo fe mo kan ba ni fe mo ni o iradon wa de nche ake o fe be ni o kwemi ngbeji ni tete obo bi ashon o kwe ni tete TV o fine ko subscribe ko e bomode ni o subscribe ko e jomo ko no smo no chon ke o comment section en kan yo no fe no ni ake wo je me ball in politics bi ball bi an here two groups en ye me ko na me small wa ken fe politics me gbon ball ke mi we gandangbe sande a me small wa ball fe wo ken wa Ghana ke gadangbe fe bona benincho so ngene bole o wa fe politics fi o to mo benin ko bu any no oshiki be ya fun ya oshiki fe te makele ni oshiki fon be ya shene. I think that's right. Sani wo kwa be ni wo ba fe ni bona fe ni wo kai wo yi ona benincho because me amena ngo ni amelaka mo bona benincho no ke fi ni tumobenika John Mahama te campaign ya UNB ke mambi ko me gbasani e insuma akenkin abo mismo ni bi ni Dr. Bawumia you work ni bi ni ya no in our political space e ball mani o le koni o fe aware of the things that are going on in Ghana bona benin chon because keji wa fe na kan ni wo ba expose especially MPPB obana ka ame ba gba wona ni ame ba fon ke Ghana bi akwa kon ni ame fon shiki fon ni agma ame gbe na ame juwe obana ka woni ba fe mo bo na benin chon no mene mi zoning gwa mene na few video to benin ke Dr. Bawumia amale na malio me bon le call him out bo na benin chon ni na video ko nin ko ba chon bo no le dane iyu ake MPPB amebo Ghana blow why amebo Ghana blow why ni tumo beni you order that is the more reason why asani this time around there ke chonwe chonshpon sana chaki ame first video ni macho mabo na this old video ne from Kennedy Japan. Like I said, bole wofen wakwake is just a barking dog. A bolo kekeni enye really enye fe no most of the time. Bona beni sometimes you are no quali. That is one thing. Bona beni chon. Sometimes ke bolo ne you wake ma me say me ma fenege efe. Bona no be pk you me discount on ne you be come hu ke you no ko bona beni chon. Like ona ke sometimes as no fe to am fe mo no bole to e. Bona ta flash bulu po be come ke you adwemo yemi. Bona beni chon. So like I said, you may have an issue with Canadian Japan, but sometimes I care a no go sanobo to me again fiona sometimes I no go mbo to any ko any a joke ba ni me video any matchama boy. It's an old video mo, but it reminds you of how bad ni MPPB ne ame running Ghana ni no fe no ni ame fe koni ama na say no fenu ni MPPB efe ame fe na ama me na se o na ke me na mele ame dwen Ghana e kura ame dwen Ghana bia e ame bana me ba chojo ame bana me ba ye ame bana me ba ju ame bana me ba fite ona benincho this video ni matchama abo na it talks about this national ID na ona ke that is the reason you woni ame nchinu no fe no na ke wo national no fe no government ID no fe no ID no fe no ID no fe no. Look, don't get me wrong, in your man say it's a very good thing, but the way ni we be in a chio, the way be in this video actually explains it because so Jonah choje me na ke twaje no go video na choje me na ken twojolo ona be nincho bokene de Japan to e
Ghana here NDC $10 million as against 1.2 billion. Are you out of your mind? What are you out of your mind? What do you mean?
But probably your $50 million was not going to do
the efficiency. Company, a renowned company in the world. There are two companies in India with a population of 1.2 billion. The northern sector and the southern sector. For the southern sector for 600 million people. Can you compare that to 30 million for you to tell me they are not competent? Then they were willing to take 30 million and you 1.2 billion. Are you out of your mind? I serve my country. I don't serve any political party. Case closed. I serve any political party for you to come and tell us 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion for what? Maybe for 200 Ghana cedis. Who do a pejam panta? 200 Ghana cedis. Any atom body. Are you crazy? Move go Ghana. Move go forward. Please. Electoral commission for I'm a businessman, so I know when you call the price. Say 1.2 billion. A poor country like Ghana. 1.2 billion dollars, and you see this? Are you mad? Nigeria will go on here. Please. Alata. And this is what Gambaka. What MPC is doing? When the man comes up to say, what 1.2 billion? In how many years? 15. Now such a system this year with your software and hardware in here. What else do you need? It will cost you 1.2 billion. Sak when we can was it. Or man assassin or the man. Margins man assassin. Yes, we see margins on my Professor Chief Assassin. I challenge him. No. Me see I was yes. Me don't control. Me say what I do to announce, I'll do to anybody. It's Ghana first, and I'm serving my country. I'm not serving any political party in this country. $1.2 billion? Are we crazy in this country?
Right, open a bit of video. Born on me. $1.2 billion for IDs. $1.2 billion. JC is $1 billion. Meanwhile, I look, India, I'm a Germany, a population of 1.5 billion. I'm a Germany into northern and southern zones. Each zone they use about $50 million for each zone. Ghana, India, a population of over 1.5 billion. Over 1.5 billion, give or take, I may use about $100 million or so dollars. Now I make a fair, I'm a national ID system. Meanwhile, as Ghana, a country of only 33 million. Only 33 million. We use $1.2 billion. Because me come if me na chojo na juma. Nekeshika ne komuni bi ne ba nye fe. Komuni bi ni nekeshika ne ba nye fe. Bona benicho te fiote India. With a population of over $1 billion, I may use about give or take $100 million can back on the national ID system. Whereas Ghana, where 33 million pay, will use $1.2 billion. Now, granted, components of the idea may not be the same. But the difference in your India with their population can what me. Ona benincho, bolenche kwamo. Ona efe na ba fe bomonchoja me ne ke trojo, bomonchoja me ne ke gbagana na, bomonchoja me ne ke fochobo. Ni wanyegbeke bi na ya school ye chi asisiolo. Wanyegbeke bi na ya school ye chi asisiolo. Wanye ni what subsidize dialysis treatment in Ghana be. She was banashka mogoba fojo nebacho komo in maybe a Kolebu Teaching Hospital has increased the cost of dialysis from 380 cedis to 491 cedis. Kolebu Teaching Hospital has increased the cost of dialysis from 380 cedis to 491 cedis. Bolenche kwamo. 380 apolenche bename move le from tuno ko kebaja melenche Ghana bin fo Ghana bin pi menye pe me Russian I'm a dialysis treatment because I'm a beshika. Ona benicho asangmeno get $491. $491. Chuabana 1.2 billion nuagwafe national ID. Where 33 million per. Meanwhile, a country with over 1 billion in population, I may spend way less than that. Way less than that. Wafonshiki ni ame ojo trape, you know na me feel. Ojo trape, you know na me feel. I'm in Tragano Joe. I'm in Fogana be a trouble. Now I'm a drain Ghana be a. I'm a drain Ghana be a. Jame Sunny. ame back ame ba enrich ame ka me wekume ke joje achi me no fita ame here be gbele abonu nonu ona benincho no le in another video ko ni mi ba matwa mabo ke me ka ke NDC bi e ke MPP bi e fe be me comedy ame look they are all not the same kani mokomoko lakabu look both political parties ame flaws tumo ye mane mi no tumo mane mi ken na mokoni especially ken na edinyo ne ka ke o Republicans ke Democrats fe be me comedy ame nko ake bo be correct o le no ni yan o be correct. Both parties are not the same. I'm a fe bayame, I'm a fe shiyame, but they are not the same. Yeah, both countries, my name is Ghana, and I believe almost all across every country, the parties are not the same. Bona benincho. Yes, I'm a fe, I'm a plan memo. Shimoko yanike ba le taflache a boy modern fio akeba wo yanfoi ni o yanfoi amena ejole fio me komele ka me ba amela me pa me jon ni MPP bi e fio tum ni na kanji be ni pepe pa me yo nkeda ne nkobo aka me tumo Republicans ni yo man name keji ame ba shika che me ka me party bi ke business man me pay ame jon ame fe no go na me ba ordinary people. Ke Democrats say ba to mo NDC bi na me bo modern fio ake yes amo ame himo sha me ba bo modern ko na me wa oyanfo efio am ba modern na me fe ni bi papa na ba wa Ghana fio bona beninjo ni ko both political parties ame ideology the same Republicans say what they believe in ame philosophy same to mo MPP bi NDC bi un ko no na me believe same to mo Democrats ona beninjo so they are not the same ona ni mene watch Kwesi Pratt in a video koni it's so simple you know sometimes I make me feel to amena bona benicho come na can video
Well, there's this guy, MPP commentator, who is so busily talking about the incompetence of Mahama, and he's talking about the Sagrame housing project. Okay, so this NDC chap just goes and takes a photograph of the National Cathedral, and invariably the same amount of money that was used to develop Sagrame is the same amount of money that has been sunk into the National Cathedral project. So the guy simply says that if you spend 200 million building Sagrame and your opponent spends 200 million digging this hole, who is incompetent?
Okay.
Well,
right.
this
video Bona. So that tells you party ni ke ba ame dwo gbomo ke party ni ke ba ame taflache ame dwen Ghana bi ai party come spend $200 million na ke face Sagleme housing ni MPP bi ba ame ke sane Sagleme housing e sha choje ma ke yeshika na me shi Sagleme housing na machine me di bete no ni e fe reshuffle ni e ke kojo opon kruma ete housing e mole ejele gaje information ministry ne ke housing ministry ni kojo opon kruma ba ka keshi ame ba prioritize Sagleme housing for 8 good years ame share machine I spent $200 million ame ka fiteshka this same party the same $200 million ame ka achabu na ame ka make cathedral. The same sky parties come on the same $200 million say eko kema moshia public housing ni akama civil servants abacheno na kan civil servants another party use the same $200 million say ne ka chabu ekeke ma cathedral ni mu abatami aka chabu kanumbo ne buani so ba kemia ke parties they are the same moko not $200 million say eke machine can civil servants moko no $200 million say eka achabu na shibu amajeme. Are these two parties the same? They are not the same. Moko me John the way ne ba fe ni Ghana bi ye ba jo ame moko mi ele ame musumi ka me wekume ka me bi ka me jole me je ame sani Bona benicho no fe no ni NDC BFA na me ba the same thing na make Cocoa Roads when you carry your Cocoa Roads le wa me ka me fe investigations ke bata bia ne Cocoa Roads say ame shife ame abandon Cocoa Road project say ni NDC BMF na jenshi ni communities ni ame do cocoa na make wa Ghana NDC be have devote ska na can black bay ya jeme na me wa me na cocoa say me ba me ka tonje me na can do ska ke batabia ne Cocoa Road sa me abandon be na me abandon Sagleme house here na kano Cocoa Roads I me abandon. So I mean mini papa ka me ba mini papa no ame fi on Ghana bi fi ojo twa ke chobofo no page no na amele ke batabia ne Cocoa Roads na me ka me investigation say I me investigate olo 8 good years I me investigate olo kemo ko ye skapwe nya ni aya no mo ni nya no nye fi anya investigations na ga no to mo Sagleme house ye nye cha no ko ni nye ka civil servants awomi ka police we nye ka hanjo soldier fo nye ka hanjo teacher fo nye ka flinjo nye ke ha me ko ni nya no nye fi investigation say shaba shini amashi ya Sagleme house ye no okwe ni bi na ka wo we mie julete ajuju ni bi ko me fite ni bi ko me dry ni bi ko me kpoto abandon $200 million amena $200 million ego ameka ma hye ko ni wo ba na difference eh ameka achabu ne kegbe me wo fon shiki wa ne kegbe me wo fon shiki ha onum shishi amele noko femu ame bagana na mba fite no feno am bagana na mba fite no como bank say como banks I'm Ghanaian banks we I'm fit Ghana banks Ghanaian owned banks I'm number fit because achim new no pay Ghana bank na me sumoni e machine data bank can no for Riata bank no pa me tawo no come amba fit businesses como Mr. Martin Miniji bank UT bank como no na me fele amontone ko na nu a shadow of himself. Como Dr. Dufour ame fite no feno Dr. Pakwesi Ndum afite no feno como Ghana banks abona ame fite como me anuchu mo na ame fite me ni ame nchuni ya banks ame teme ko me kabatabi ane ame talashi ya olo ame severance pay denche na ame babimo echo sandi ame trashi olo na ame ya banks na ame nchuni nyega ganye fe na kan banks fe ba fite bank say fe ba fit you need like a 9 billion or so to near ba fe bank say solvent you fit bank say you spend about 20 billion no ko you need about 9 billion you ba fix hey you tawo 9 billion and you ba womi to be ni John Mahama tawo ne fe John Mahama e save bank say e kodan na ka e save am e kodan need there were plans in place to actually save them this time around. No, koni Ghana be ayano na me ame banks say koni Ghana be ni chuoni and the banks ne ame no chumo aka mame nyeba fit bank say they ended up spending more than shikana ba needy na ba save bank say no ko mene mame edwemo ko mene mame pepepe. Just because atani data bank can offer Riata bank le PFA bank ne dumoshi koni all the businesses say fe atcho emi no ni me pena me fi one ke je achim yojibo no fita me ye be no egbele abo nu be no o agbe insure mi ni insure ke boya me ni wo fun shike ko na me fe pa kwesi ndum komo no na me fe pa kwesi ndum Dr. Pa ko na me fe Dr. Komna Dufour Kona me fe Dr. Komna Dufour afite ame businesses akpatakpata ame ni bia ye gbe me ni ame fe businesses na me fe investments na me ke employ Ghana oblahi na chuni akpata no fe no here afite no fe no le mini Captain Smart a little breakdown of some of the issues ne surround the banks ne can be near Sunday no na ka me ame tawo Ghana no ya mene ma me bana me ba gbe Ghana bi mene ma me bana me ba fite Ghana bi mene ma me bana me ba patani bi aye ame bana me ba patani bi aye ma twa Captain Smart video abo no bullet we no kwa ke mene me ko kwa sana fonshi ki ha me lo ni gbe me ka me e foshi aka me ba fe ni bi na ba chake Ghana o blanta ashin ame ba fite le because ke je achim lojibu e bu e shika sa na oyo e ko achim pe ji Ghana ko fita achimbi aye bu eni esa no neko ko fita achimbi aye bu e properties esa no neko ko fita achimbi aye bu e shika esa no neko afon shike ha me na am bakpato Ghana neke na am ba fiti Ghana bi ani bi neke o fa come video e
Pakwesium. Aban born besia.
Aban born besia.
Royal Kwabrado for the end of Kakra one hill. Royal Bank. Aban Koji wo musika nyina editua ka na wo education sector. And of course, Pakwesi in your Mokoji Sika. Ekotua contractors, any energy sector, a kind of oh, yeah, and obviously, Quabanado for oh, both. I can't say, tell you, road contract, na Coco Road, na your Chemuno. I buy the Quabanado for her, and of course, G. Quabanado for Hosika, and the court so called judgment debt. Emma. Coco wrote now be chep. Now when you say we chep now be boka. Why do you? I don't know money. Very good. No chep no kwati sikano. E wo komanado for. The intention is say now omo person can oforiata bank no. It grow faster and bigger. Why? Yeah, okay. Watch this. I'll tell you. Marco Faba. Memi timbe yo. Memi timbe na Marco Faba yo. So the agenda was that one number clone NIB. Initially, they wanted a South African bank to come and buy NIB. Then the South African bank will say that then one better one must have bank no. Saubekaya 2018 eba say a ton Ghana Commercial Bank. Quickly no me rebanding no be GCB. I still have the document. So that and between that time to 2028 they are looking at it, say, they're looking at it, say, Sa Bank, no, Ebenya not less than 140 branches across the country, so that they can hold the financial system. So that they can hold the entire financial space, you know, because Ghana have bank or branches span the whole country. Branch.
So in one way, just because I'm in town, government businesses, government transactions, fair now, but international businesses now, but fair to data bank. I don't know where you are. Fair to data bank. No, other banks say, sana kuma mashwe. Sana kuma mashwe.
Padie book na. Omo your man is on blackmail Pakwesium a CIA informant. Granted, say Pakwesium a CIA informant. One more party, na man CIA too Kwame Nkrumah. Into Kwame Nkrumah, I too no any UP4 and do DNA must say any Pakwesium one or the biggest informant. UP. And the Pakwesium no, I am not. Make way at the United Nations. And the UN, and me call Zimbabwe, UN, and me call other African countries to build their economy. Alan Chamatini, Pakwesium, and the World Trade Organization when they were looking for top-notch Africans. Pakwesium, any Alan Chamatini, President Kufuor nominee woman. That is why Pakwesium no CBP, but Oriye Nejumano, J. Kufuor time, Obeye Minister of Energy first, and so Obeye Minister of Public Sector Reforms. It is a document now who say Ghana Commercial Bank is one of the most powerful banks in the whole of Africa.
Ghana Commercial Bank should be blown kwa me home. It should be blown kwa no one me home.
One name bank we have TTB, Mokai. Trust Bank. Trust Bank. Very good. CIA report which say Ghana manage Trust Bank here. Trust Bank baba be one of the biggest banks ubetimi Africa betimi there infrastructure. That time they were Bank of Housing. So they realized that Ghana Commercial Bank, TTB, African Development Bank, and as against ADB, African Development Bank, Agricultural Development Bank. It was a strategy so that by abbreviation they would sound the same. It was a serious financial fraud. What I said to kill Ghana ADB. So quickly, Osafma for attempted selling ADB. Amfa, Kwesi Prati, I'm sorry. That time I don't person on Ghana water ni ECG can hono. Amfa. Then Professor Samuel Sebae and the Mudadi. A quite mukaka we musuba no so person on ADB. And also Amfa. Because that's still a CIA document, you know. Indicate say even what ton ADB, what ton NIB, I can't buy bank back me. ADB, NIB, and there's one other government bank. Forgotten the name.
What count our banks ni na no.
No, I'm a femoji. Car phone she can me. Government ni bi ne your fin Ghana bi ani bi ni government your fin about home.
And one
other state no pay me le femo.
I'm telling you, SIC.
I'm a banana, me bama no kwa mashi. Dan no na me show me ka me bana me ba ho.
That is why I say some person turn SIC. Omo turn SIC branches in and they will convert it into a bank. Sa bank bi na empese be bodi. It is sanity there.
Bank.
Parkway syndrome who report no. He told somebody with cabinet say sanity there. Yem build 5 Ghanaian people. Parkway say young peg Ghana phone numa what tisika semase. Or no Parkway syndrome so bet me lead $4 billion about Ghana to set those 5 people no up. Now met me ama financial sector na wo Ghana ha no are very strong. Now fe no we select about 200,000 youth across the country. Now we ma obi $50,000 to set them up. And no more agree, but now buying nisika. Na Parkway say no, nisika no problem. Etika Parkway say no percent. Our hotel, can I say it? Our hotel be Elmina. Parkway say no hotel Elmina.
Elmina, yeah. I will beach no.
Nanka Parkway say no person this hotel ni ko see a Ghana nti. Yes, say. Me say there's a document to prove. Eti Parkway say no ade me share me yes ah.
Yeah, both from.
And na onya na dan for be US. And no catch and say no. I don't think say it will be needful. So the bank ni be kwa kosi awa. You stayed our America. Why you Juma man international bodies? You can find a way. And genuinely, onya sika kakra. And also sanity there. Said the Ghana Commercial Bank be very strong. Now 5 banks no more person who grow no so be very strong. Said the be Ada afen makai. Ada international banks no be one just say wo mo kono. Ghana financial sector no en collapse. Now watch this. Be your bank bi wo kurum ha. Me modi because obi ato. Wo maka bank na shim. Be international bank. Say am no ka say bank na yasesa ne din na bibi wo mu wo baabi. Na bibi wo ho baabi. E na omo sesan na omo di AB be share ho baabi.
No, backless bank, Sonny. I mean, you are backless bank. I'm for me. I'm fair absa na ye. No, I mean, Logan the property is fake and woman mission. In Kekeji achi yo jibwe ben shwa shabo no gbo.
Oh, your financial guru. Any Joe Papa Kakana yo ba
Joe Jackson.
Joe Yamishaw. Obi me kan bo wasumba wa. Joe Jackson. And another lecturer be at University of Cape Coast. My friend Kingsley J. Or your tia be the Dr. Kingsley J. Or your tia be wow bing. And then one woman or a Ghanaian says I know because was Senegal on advice Senegal finance minister. Ghanaian ba onya be mo yoba oni kunumpo. Wouldn't live here already or 43 years. Oh yeah, Igbeni.
Yeah, funny.
Or a Votarian. When you 43 years, on our advice, Senegal finance minister, go and check Senegal. Say, baby, our economy it's far better than that of our country. These people teamed up and said that they will build the financial sector as against the interests of the international banks because they be on person or more na economy no enya shock. Sa bank bi na me say ho baby no okoye financial sector ni nya shock. Emre bi abese ko na omo say omo chase you say beje bese. It's in Crawford omo sika bebre kogu so the bank became the richest bank in Ghana as against Ghana Commercial Bank. So Parkway Syndrome wanted to keep the money here in Ghana to complement Ghana Commercial Bank.
Right. If I walk a video, I bullet way. Bona Benichon, Nikik me afon shiki ha. Mena me ichon wani, they don't care about destroying Ghanaian businesses. I mean, ye me Ghana binke, keji achim no jibu, beje Ghana no jibu. Ofita aga, if I'm like a Ghana chimpe. But if I'm in a pe, because Gabi Ochida Kwani Waliake, I'm a pen, I'm a new one school be. I'm a guy, I'm a work be na me new one school be. Ghana be a come one ni make a one man ya won I'm in Tunia farms. so ka position self in ha me miniji wona agba gabi ochiri da kun bona benichon come captain explain like aka fe park we see indum park we see indum wona e ka me yakọ ni ball I make park Supreme Court fe I make park High Court, Appellate Court, District Courts, every single place e lo me awoje me fe no call osu ame case call kete they will find a way about tracha fun manage gbete Chief Justice say by Ekewake Akufo-Addo epitomize or rule of law. Really? Many epitomize or rule of law. Really? Gwana she call a whole Chief Justice Sane Yue na kainoko. A whole Chief Justice ba agala wo jeme atwon le no na Sane echu no e ba Yue na kain komo no na fe pa kwesi ndum no mo na ko akeshi le lenche e ba raise e other friends ba businessmen about raise $4 billion na ta Ghana be 5 na fe shu akeshi about make am into millionaires kona amenye na ame hold Ghana economy strong. $4 billion I feel papa le neke na fit no fe no about select youth e come 200,000 about each person 50,000 neke start business. Comment keke neke no kwe anya fe how many millionaires are create out of neke scheme ne keji anya fe 200,000 Ghanaian youth aha mo fe mo come 50,000 na me start businesses. Comment ke bene how many millionaires anya create from neke scheme kanji anya fe chi ojo twalo ine na me ta Ghana no ya na me sumo Ghana no afite papa le akpete businesses aye e bank afitele onu mokomi ani tanu eke no mi pa kwesi ndum bank all across Ghana court here every single village any bank say ya afi e face wake e ba establish ko jame koni small farmers ke ni bi ni oye ame na ko na ame save number 1 number 2 ke mo konta o shika na ke we farming mi alo small business mi ni bank anya fale shika akpata papa le no fe no ye akpata no fe no ye ko mo dwemo na yo na ke ngwa Ghana ko mo dwemo nke youth 200,000 keji anya selector me na anya 50,000 be na atwon imagine mo millionaires abona create imagine mo businesses abona ne ke oblai ne shugo me create ni Ghanaians we na nuchumo na menchu imagine mo me na me bae imagine mo ne kegbe me wa fon shiki wa ne kegbe me wa fon shiki han imagine mo Ghana be alive snake chaki imagine mo eke mene amewo Dr. Bawumia Keba onum shishi ni a pentile tumo eye kron inoko pe no le this time around there Ghana be engbe nkobwe because Ghana be aye chela me no na efe 2016 2020 ele bi ane ihe awomia ka meju no me ke NDC be ihe amenye sinibi neteno with the EC kanibi come any na kelele 2020 amene ma meju so man ke 2016 ba fe 2016 amale ne ba male Ghana bi ke lectures ne nyene ha kanibi aliaka this time around there e ba anye fe na ke ko ni afon shiki hale eliaka this time around there Ghana bi prepare ke male Ghana bi ke mi oblayi ko oblayi fe a prepare ke male na ngele mo fe mo encounter le last weekend ete bono nete efe campaign e jeme nete bashi John Mahama nursing allowance ye John Mahama ne cancel nursing allowance ni wo keke oba pay obrayo kodumoje e ke for 4 years ne start nursing school allowance a pay ko le e ke ma Dr. Bawumia ye e ke mo frame we fe ready for le e ke me ye ete campaign aga me na me ba bole enye pa ne 3 weeks ago wo fe nursing students are story na me picket ame dumonumo no ame te Ministry of Finance ame picket Dr. Bawumia e like Ghana be bedroom Ghana be here chela ame be ne ba male 2016 ne male kenye e like this time around there aba nmelegbe ne male kenye na kan no ikene gbe ewe no na eyu atan ni I open up for question say first question no bla you babile kemi ye nursing school for 4 years ne alawa ina ko ekomepo dan kwa mo video
So we have to follow people who have vision. We don't have to follow people who think in terms of impossibilities. We think in terms of possibilities. When my opponent was in government, he abolished the nursing training allowances. And we said, we will restore the nursing training allowances. And we have restored the nursing training allowances. Can you trust my opponent with nursing training allowances? You cannot.
Ubodi Nawabo School. Then you ask your question. Then we go 4 questions, and His Excellency is ready to answer all your questions.
My name is Abdulalim Jaria, an SC student from Techima Nkobo NMTC. The question I want to ask is, when are we getting Alawa? Since I started my school, since first year, I've not gotten Alawa until now, and I'm in my last semester now. And some of us are not being able to pay our school fees. Next week like this, we'll be writing our exams. Those who will not be able to pay their fees will be sacked. They wouldn't be allowed to write exams. So if the Alawa were given to us, they would have been able to pay their fees. So my question is, when are we getting Alawa?
Thank you. If I try to ask a question, I know what to say. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, these are the questions from the youth of Bono East region. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those questions. I think the first question had to do with when we are getting Alawa for our listing. So I think that is a question I will take to the Ministry of Finance. I wasn't sure of where you were with your Alawa, but I think that I will check with the Ministry of Finance immediately I return, and I will make sure that they pay you your Alawa if it has not been paid. I will push it for you.
Right, if you walk with video, oblige you me applaud the wadi enche. Because bene you're young ne ona beni chon ni enye call vice president out. Call it out right there in front of everybody with the cameras on and everything. She was bold enough to call the vice president out. Bold enough. Ne fe na ga go MPP obla ni yo je ma mete ame attack le. Ona me suba. No ne. Amete ame attack obla yo e. MPP youth wing ne yo bono amete ame attack obla yo. Sanebi. Dr. Bawumia ba na emale. John Mahama, aka John Mahama for nursing allowance me. Anya trust le. She ne in school ya 4 years in alawa na ko down. Ete bi vice president ake mi tabiye. Oka alawa nye pay me 4 years ne na ko down. Nye te nye attack lo na ka me bedroom. Na kan youth wing any oga me bedroom. They are a bunch of idiots. I'm a bedroom. Shika ke t-shirt no ega melu ona keji youth wing jinye ni ba follow ni party neke ona ke party amefe no kuyanye e ba tonye neke no jelo money because moko emie here oblayo fio bibio neke young girl but she's a very young girl, early 20s emie here. Ebi vice president Sunday, nyete nye attack ile. No na ebi male. 3 weeks ago, our first story ebi. Next is I met a strike. Nursing trainee say I'm in picket your finance ministry here. Aka ma allowance bako. No ni begin we be male. E kana amemba my exams aba shwe me come because I'm na ko shikana me ba pay my school fees. Kaje ha ma allowance am ka allowance ba pay my school fees. Am ka ba pay. Ameka ba pay ona no ni John Mahama join law e gama for allowance me bona koni manye mama mo school speed ni nursing training somewhere man your option your student loans to mo beni other students say cost student loans say me nyeke pay nyeke finance and education mama mo nursing school say pi masasa e ko me emu na kan allowance ngba asas ona moko ni odwemo nyebo amale lo na etu na no kanye tesa na bi magbena attack nye bona benincho ni ya no na malolo ni minke ba ke meneme Ghana be efe ready for le benye kai last week any fe video ni e ke so mo bi ake e ba kwa ni e am incentives she pene na ba tax ame mene e ba e ka ke o no mi e show mo e ke show ni Ghana be gbe wi mu ake no ni ya no ya ma na mi lenche wona na obo ba so mo bi hu sika so mo bi esika na me fi olenche taxi ame no ni wo ya no ni lenche woni wona no konoko na oba no ba wo ma sika no kan so mo bi me na ebe ba je na e ga ke o na ewie ke fe fo amateur original video ma bo no kwa ke me na be na ewie ke fe fo lo kan be na amateur me na unu ne ba bullet we.
Then the question is church and taxes. Are we going to tax churches? My view on this is simple. In fact, that's why I say that if you share a Juma church ayeno, in fact, we should rather be paying them rather than they paying us. Unless you don't understand the work the church has done. If you're looking at the buildings, the way they try to keep the society together, the universities, the hospitals, the schools, it's massive. It's just massive. Many churches have hundreds of schools. Massive. So I don't see, and I will not have a situation where we are taxing the churches. We rather want to give churches incentives to support what government is doing. I want us to be partners in the way that the development partners are with us. You are our domestic development partners, and we will give you incentives to do more.
Right. Over na bullet we. Ko kwa mene no na ewe eke4. Ko kwa e sound to momokoni e hwe. Look, no na ewe mi efe injele one day. So mo amebo modern care Ghana. So mo emamo schools, so mo emamo clinics, so mo emamo hospitals. So mo ele amewa Ghana no ya. No two ways about that. Bona benicho si ko kwe na bu na chakie ka agbe na town na chakele no woni mi nkadeke portion e wo video me no na me na maleloni ko kwe no na ewe ne. Does it sound like somebody who was joking? Does it sound like somebody who was joking? Ni Ghana be bwen blow na call it out. Oh no me iwe ni kenhwe. That be oh you kenhwe. Some of they actually took you seriously. No one in ba kan ba fe video e bi ani nkake. Some of nyeka boale to e me na kenyo phone shiki ala. He will be the first person to tax you guys. He will be the first person to tax you guys because there is nothing in the video ni show ake iwe kenhwe. Iwe kenye absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So at
that point, I was joking, and I said, "Oh, people are talking about taxing churches. I don't believe, and we will not tax churches because if you look at the work the churches have done, then I was joking. Then maybe we should have actually paid them for what they did, not really trying to tax them. But I wasn't really saying we should pay churches. No, I'm saying that we should give incentives to churches to do more. When we talk about our
I don't think there is any well-meaning Ghanaian nikeji oke otano o incentivize some obi na me more schools na me more clinics any well-meaning Ghanaian back a cafe na kai. I don't think so. Some obi edenche so e koleka me share ni bi ko meke ba o ba ka ke okay nyeka pay taxes ye ni bi any share no because dem banyeka ba face schools bona be nchon nyem banyeka ba mamo clinics ame ma clinic ko eko ame share equipment ka ba no make o ha me na ka incentive say I don't think I get there is any Ghanaian e ba ka ke o ke so monyoko e ma clinic na e share equipment ka ja blochi ke ba na e share port e aka na e pay tax ye no bona be nchon she amalie na malio ona be ncho amalie ne malio no woni min call it out on it. He's lying. Male no le inke ya no ne malolo we ya no ne malolo this guy ele inke inna komoko ne male tumole dan inna go komo mene we enye campaign ne no inke ma call it out komo The goal is to complete all hospitals by the end of 2025. The goal is to complete all hospitals by the end of 2025. Agenda 111 enyi afeyeni. Agenda 111 na mejeshisie bio ya ka enyi afeyemi. Ona eliake eba teshi ke teshi eba yetrala ke yetrala ke Ghana bi Dr. Bawumia this time around there ni bi echake. This time around there ni bi efemini ni bi echake. Ni bi echake. This time around there ni bi echake. Ghana bi ayin egbele na kanu never fit 2016 Ghana bi enyi ekefi amena kendo agenda 111 na agency hospital say enyi afeyemi. No ba o kake o ba gbefe na by 2025 to bu Ghana bi ten come on, another one. The MPP government has provided the highest number of employed nurses in the history of Ghana. The MPP government has provided the highest number of employed nurses. Amale loni. Now granted nurses say ena employer me na mama na can hospital say na mama na can clinic say na mama na kan polyclinic say na mama ke John Dramani Mahama e mama ne ke ni bi na efe ni nye chole like agbomo incompetent padi mane ke egbe da no John Mahama incompetent egbe da no John Mahama incompetent egbe da no John Mahama ke John Mahama e mama ne ke hospitals ne e mama ne ke polyclinics ne e mama ne ke clinics ne nurses say ingbenye ka me bawo e male no ne yu e male but granted ingma me ka me bawo bo ko na bu ba pa John Mahama ibo mene e ke na bu ba pa John Mahama e ba kekele ni bi e use $200 million e ka masagla me video ni wo try earlier be o kayo nyenye na $200 million e ko nyika achabu jemfembu nke numbo ne atami tingin jemfembu ke numbo ne ke atami no fe no efite ni Ghana bi ejegba epin elia on ebe nke abo komo Ghana bi ejegba epin kolebu and me dialysis no komo another one in can trouble mene komo. Over 1 million Ghanaians expected to face food insecurity between June and August 2024, mainly due to high food prices. Komo over 1 million Ghanaians expected to face food insecurity between June and August 2024, mainly due to high food prices. Ghana bi nye no na me ba ye ni po ni na me ba ye po amenya amehe. Over 1 million between June and August. Between June and August, I expect Ghana be over 1 million of them to face food insecurity. Over 1 million because nye ninja le wacho. Na kan me mismanage economy nye ninja le wacho. Omo ye Ghana bi taflache, omo ye Ghana bi. Omo ye Ghana bi. Enye ne campaign ne male. Enye ne campaign ne male. Emale, meaning another group of people they call it out. Matcha no last one, Mashibu. ECGB, Bene campaign again. They accuse ECGB again. Bena me ba any ame fe a new payment system. Koni corruption akpa ba ni ECG worker say I'm a sabotage system na make ransomware attack system Mene ECGB about jail and I get papa ogamini. Naka electronic payment system what jensi 2016 ton bo wani bo balanchi keko ole noko bona mene dane no fe no na digitalize in mene ECG work say call aka papa jebo fe na can digitalization jebo digitalize ECG bia I'm a payment system you did not do it. I'm a fair July of 2016 and I'm president John Dramani Mahama jebo fe you just happen to be the vice president. Na me chebo no balanchi. Shole noko. I'm trying to video ne male mi ni le kage le digitalize ECGB a payment system. Come on, I can video.
They just kept it at 415 million every month. So I said we need to send in a team to digitalize revenue collection at the electricity company of Ghana. So we sent in a team. And we began the process of digitalizing. Can you believe that workers within the system sabotaged? They put in ransomware into the whole system. They put in ransomware and the system
essentially collapsed. We had to send in national security, eventually found that it was some of the staff in the IT department who were culpable, and we found the computer from which this ransomware was injected in the system. It took us a while to restore this system. In fact, they asked for a ransom actually for this to work. Can you imagine that we should pay? They submitted a bill that we should pay for them to let the system work. But anyway, they were arrested, and we
right over and above when I can video. Bona, accuse ECG here. ECG work sake. I mean, I make a ransomware with system me. Ne sabotage me. First of all, a cake credit. Hey, I can let Eba Institute. I'm a electronic payment system. Male, he didn't do it. John Mame Fomo in 2016. I'm a Fomo. ECGB about Jena. Papa Omale ni boke waka ransomware wonieno. Omale boke national security be na me bakwani na me fix it. Omale national security be na me ba mele no noko. Wano wa chome. Wa chome no na sana me fe. Ani kwamo nke letter ba me screen no maka na bi bio pe ma bodi manwe. Kwamo. Again, press release, release, rebuttal to allegations made by His Excellency, the Vice President, regarding the Electricity Company of Ghana ransomware incident during the 14th Regional Conference of Heads of Anti-Corruption Agencies in Commonwealth, Accra. Come on, a whole Vice President, Electricity Company, workers, rebuttal statement, no fair. Yeah, on an international forum. The Public Utilities Workers Union of the Trades Unions Congress Ghana has taken note of the recent address delivered by His Excellency the Vice President Dr. Bawumia during the annual general meeting of the African Anti-Corruption Agencies in Africa on the 9th of May 2024. Bona, in the said address, the Vice President categorically indicated that the ICT staff of ECG sabotaged the digitalization of the payment system by putting a ransomware attack into the ECG ICT system of the company and further demanded a ransom. He further stated that ECG's monthly revenue prior to the digitalization was at 450 million, which has increased to over 1 billion Ghana cedis monthly after the digitalization. The union respectfully disagrees. I may capitalize it. The union respectfully disagrees with the statement of His Excellency the Vice President on his presentation relating to digitalization and sabotaging of the ICT system at ECG. Come on. Come on. I make the bankless straight up. Come on, the ICT Directorate already spearheaded the digitalization of ECG payment systems with the rollout of the ECG Power App and USSD *226 hashtag services dating back to July 2016. July 2016, Dr. Bawumia Onyeo campaign our favorite Vice President. His Excellency the Vice President was invited as a guest of honor on the 18th of February 2020 to launch the ECG Power App at the head office of the ECG. So 2020 now launch 2016 to me boy fame mo. Ona here she shwemo. Bona here she shwemo. Ona neke ko male we neka sure here she. Openly publicly ECG be I make the bank no here publicly come a whole Vice President. Come on. Mo fame on call it out on the lies. A malene malio mokomokwe mo fame on call it out because nakaji be ni Ghana bi enale akemene amaleloni ni ko meye e ba male bona be ni chon so na Ghana bi bole ne fe campaign mahabo ni bi ne ba ya no ne ba yue amale ne ba male fe wo ba call am out buna fe ni wonyeme kome akana naka amale na amenala aka no kwale wanyeme kome hey male yue mo na awomi no oba call it out beni John Mahama ya na fe campaign ni nko obo le una kenu no ne ya you ofen nge fe ba chobo ma present both sides mabo no na money you anu kwale ke money male no na mona sana fon shiki ale ne eye president no na mona sana fon shiki ale bona beni chon so mi eni ndumo jame no ndumo me na me sana chaki ame na me ya say na makase ni Dr. Bawumia ya ne akase be na you anukwale ina aka anukwale wie mo tole ya ne akase be ni a level or up with your electorate mo be ni John Mahama fi o moko mati gogo ne get look John Mahama you too honest to be the president of Ghana. John Mahama you too honest you anukwale to me sumo na mali amini John Mahama wenye male you too honest. Now, John Mahama Male Kudan, Alo Male, he's a politician. Every now and then, Male. But this guy was too honest. He was too honest for Ghanaians. Because a level or up with Ghana be. What for shaking ame kume? Ame ba ame Male. Na ameke asem pepe na mati de oye. Na ameke ba lakawo. The battle is the Lord's. The battle is the Lord's. Ba ame Male. Mene Dr. Bawumia we nye somo chumi ne Male me. Kabo ba wa bi e ngbeji ni tete obo bi ason iradon ake ofemi o kwemi kaba wa bi e ma job wa de nche o fine ko subscribe ko e bo mode no subscribe ko e jomo ko no sumo no chon tell comment section allo ba nyo send me voice note allo twa me kula ye WhatsApp number ni una ye screen there no nke bo ba gba san de je mo fine bo mode no share link ke ha me no invite am ni ameba fit away o iradon twa no manye juno afo no bye bye.
Yeah, Baba, it's neat. Them say you want to chop my